All this is really important. I said it in class. Okay.
Because it goes off the graph.
It would go off the graph. So I cannot rise 2 in a positive direction. But can I drop 2? Okay. So I'm going to go down 1, 2. Now, since I went negative with my rise, what must I do with my run?
Negative.
It needs to be negative 2. What direction is negative? Left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I can connect my line. Because I have a rise of positive 2 and a run of positive 5. Does everybody understand how to use a graph to find a slope? If you can count, and you know that the word rise means up, and you know that positive means up, and negative means down, you can find a rise. If you know that run means left and right, and you know positive means right and negative means left, you can count, you can graph lines. Is everybody good? Great. Graph the next 3. You can put them anywhere you want. I'm going to do B in red. And then do like I did here, put them on yours. -4 rise and a run of positive 1. And you can put it anywhere you want. Does everybody see how to do it? Okay. C. I did that one red. C I will do blue. 0. So what must my rise be? What's the only way I can have 0 in a situation with a fraction? Am I allowed 0 over 7? Is that okay? I have no pizza. Can I cut it into 7 pieces? No, because I have no pizza. So how much pizza are you guys getting? None. Can I take 7 pizzas and divide them into 0? No, you cannot divide by 0. So it cannot be this one. It has to be this one, correct? So I have a rise of 0 and a run of what? Does it matter what my run is? No. So I'm going to go there, and as long as I run any amount there, I have a rise of 0 and a run of 4, 0 rise. 0 divided by 4, no slope. It's flat. Which makes sense, right? Because you can't ski when there's no slope. On a vertical, the slope is infinite. Because you can't ski that either. That's called falling. Understand? And the last one is 7, which I will do in green. So I choose a point on the graph. And I need it to be 7 over 1. So I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I go over 1. And it makes a very steep line, which is +7 and +1. Is everybody good? Is everybody good? Can everybody do this? Okay. Now you guys are smart kids. This line that I put right here, this red line, I'm just going to erase the rise and run for a second. Can you tell me the coordinates of that point? What is it? On my graph. 8, 8, 3. Everyone agree? Can you tell me the coordinates of that point? What is it? 7, 7. Everyone agree? Okay. When it's on the graph, you can find the slope by counting, can't you? What if the graph wasn't there? You can still find the slope. How? Checking the difference between heights and runs. Does everybody see that? Okay, so that is the fourth way to find a slope. I told you we've given you three, there's a fourth way. When you have coordinates only. When you have coordinates, you take y2. I'm calling it y2 because there's two y's. Minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Who decides which one is y2 and which one is y1? It doesn't matter. Okay? Is everybody with me? So let's see. Let's put this into action. Do you guys have these graphs here? You do, right? You only have one? You have this one with E, right? Yeah, that's fine. But you have both these points, but only one graph, right? Good. That's what I wanted you to have. Put these points on the graph. -5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down 1, 2, 3. Right? And 2, 1. 1, 2, up 1. Do I have a line on a graph? Can I find the slope? How? By counting. And I do rise and run. So if I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, plus 4, and I run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I know this slope is 4/7. Correct? Everyone agrees? Now you guys should have this 0 and 4 here, yes? Okay, I'm going to erase the graph because we're going to do that one without a graph. So, first thing is decide which one is y2 and which one is y1. Who decides that? Who? You do. So which one of these do you want to make y2? Does it matter? No, but you have to decide and then you have to be consistent. When I was your guys' age, I always made the second one y2 because it was the second one. If that's y2, what is that? x2. If that's y2, what's that? y1. And that's x1. Now you guys are going to get lazy and you're not going to show me your work. Even though this is the 6th unit, and I've shown you a billion times that the math is easy to do if you show your work, most of you still won't show me your work. And that's okay. But remember, no complaining. Slope equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. What's y2? 3 minus, what's y1? -4. What's x2? 0. What's x1? 0. What's 3 minus minus 4? Over. Is that allowed? No. So this slope is what we call undefined because it's straight up and down. Now, if I put it on the graph, I've got a graph right here. I'm just going to show you 0, -4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right there. 0, 3, 1, 2, 3. You can see I've got a rise of 7, but no run, making it an infinite slope because you can't ski down it because it's falling. Everybody good? All you have to be able to do is subtract, and you can always find your slope. Cool? So here, I have given you no graphs, have I? You guys should have whatever letters you're at. You're at K and L. But it should be those same points, yes? Right? Okay. You have no graph, so you can't count it, can you? So you got to use algebra. I'm going to make that y2, which makes that x2. y1, x1. Slope equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. What's y2? 1 minus, what's y1? 7 over, what's x2? -6 minus, what's x1? 2. What's 1 minus 7? -6. -6 minus 2? -8. Two negatives make a positive, and I simplify that 6/8 to 3/4. Is everybody able to find a slope with a graph? You can all count, right? Is everybody able to find a slope with this? Because you can all subtract, which means you can also find a slope the last way, which is using a table, because a table just has x's and y's on it, doesn't it? Everybody good? What's the next one? What am I writing here? -4. Now this one causes people problems. Because if I graph it, I put the dot way up there, I need a rise of 11, don't I? If I go up 11 from there, I'm going to go off the graph, aren't I? So where would I need to go? Down 11. There's my -11. But what would I have to do here? I would have to go +4 to make that line. Because this is the same as -11 over 4, and it's the same as -11/4. Is everybody good? Yes? Once, twice, thrice? Okay. So now, I gave you 4 lines there. 2 of them you should automatically know the slope for. You don't even need to count them. Which 2 do you automatically know? C and D. What's C? No, C is not 0, C is undefined. Because that's not a slope, that's falling. What's this one? That one's 0. Now, look at A and tell me why I can't go end to end. Because it's not exact points, is it, Abruzia? So what do I got to do? You can approximate or you can choose 2 exact points. And as long as you choose the points, do you have a graph? Can you count? Which should I count first, the rise or the run? Or does it matter? Doesn't matter as long as you remember that the rise is the numerator and the run is the denominator. So I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, plus 7 for a rise, and what's my run? -2. So this guy's slope is 7 over -2. Can I write that in any other ways? Can I write that as negative 7 over positive 2? Yes. Can I write it as negative 7 over 2? Can I write it as negative 3.5? Yes. Can I write it as negative 3.5? Yes, because all the slopes are always able to be put back to a fraction, which is always rise over run. Everybody good? Great. So you guys do B. I like to use that point and that point. Why is this difficult? Without coordinates, why is finding slope difficult? Is the counting too hard for us? Of course not. So what makes this difficult? Because nobody's telling me the slope, so I can only assume that you're all finding it difficult. Pardon me? Exactly. It comes down to you deciding, is that point an exact coordinate or isn't it? What if you disagree with my points? What if you say, well, that's like a millimeter off? Is that allowed? Of course it is, because it comes down to your decision, which is why we don't like to do this. We like to use actual coordinates. Everybody understand? Now, when I do this one, I get 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I get a slope of 4/9. What did you guys get? So you got 5/10, which is 1 over 2. It's pretty close to mine, isn't it? Now, if you showed me this on a test, but I disagreed with your point, what do you think I'd do? I'll give you full marks? Did you prove to me you knew that slope was rise over run? What slope? Rise over run. What am I testing you on? Am I testing your eyesight? Am I testing your ability to get out a ruler and make sure that it's not 1 millimeter off? No. What am I testing you for? To know that slope is rise over run. Okay? Because I look at your work. My poor little daughter just didn't get perfect on an English thing she just did in grade 6 because she wrote the word writer instead of the word author in a blank. Yes, and her teacher marked it wrong. Last I checked, an author is a writer. But he has a key. That key had the word author. He's going right, wrong, right, wrong. He's not actually reading their work. And I know that happened to some of you guys in elementary and middle school. It does not happen here in my room because I look at what you are actually doing. If I can decipher it. Sometimes I can't. Sometimes it looks like you sneezed on the page. And if that happens, then I just got to say wrong. But usually I try to find something.
Yeah, mine did class last year. If you use the ampersand, that and symbol, instead of actually writing it out, we lost.
You should have. It's an English class. You're writing. That's different. All right. See if you can do number 3. That's a thing just for you guys. It's on the next page for you. Draw a triangle.
We just did our number 3.
Yeah, I know. Something's wrong with the printing. It's been happening all previous 150 pages. All 3 sides have to have a positive slope. So sketch it. You don't need a graph. If there's a graph there, it's too easy. That must have been for my summer school kids that I made this. So make a graph. If it's got a positive slope, what's it going to look like? Which way does it have to lean? You should be able to do that positive slope one, and you should be able to do this x and y intercepts one by yourselves, because I got to pee. So you're on your own for a minute. Oh. Because I know you're all going to talk about how... You guys done yet? I think you're lying to me. Positive slope. Well, is that a positive sloped line? Yes or no? Yep. Is that a positive sloped line? Is that a positive sloped line? Can everybody do it? As long as they all lean the same way, right? Okay. Now I left you alone with this one. This one was tricky because it required you to remember yesterday. X and Y intercepts. What is every X intercept? X-intercepts are all x0, aren't they? What's every y-intercept? 0y. So, if x is x and y is 0, what do I have right there? An x and a 0, yes? So, I have 3x. What happens to the y? It disappears, correct? Plus 8 equals 0. 3x equals negative 8. X equals negative 8 thirds. Does everyone agree? Should I put it on the graph now? No, because it's a fraction, right? And I better check if the y's have a fraction. Now, do I have to do this? Or did I give you a shortcut to finding the y-intercept? I did, didn't I? What was that shortcut, Mark? Do you remember? It's the last number when y is by itself, right? So if I take this right here, 3x, oops, I'll do this one in red. Sorry, guys. If I take this, 3x minus 2y plus 8 equals 0, and I can get the y by itself, then I'll know the y-intercept, won't I? It's the number. So let's do that. I'm going to move this over here, and I'm going to move this over here. Or is it better to just move the y? Because I need y by itself, don't I? So should I move two things or one thing? I'm going to move one thing. I'm going to move the y over here. So I'm going to have 3x plus 8 equals 2y. Is y by itself yet? No. What would make y be by itself? Dividing by 2. If I divide this side by 2, is y alone? What do I got to do to this side? Divide it by 2. 3 over 2 x plus 4. Hey, wait a minute. Y is by itself. That gives me the y-intercept. And what is that in this equation? That was m. M is also my slope. So if you can do algebra, you can even find the slope without ever going to a graph. Everybody understand? So, what's my y-intercept here now? 4. So I have the point 0, 4, and I have the point negative 8/3 and 0. Now that is hard to put on a graph, isn't it? Why? Because it's got fractions. So what should I do to make my graph easy to work with? What am I allowed to do to the graph? We did it yesterday, like 3 times. What can I change? Can I change the scale? So instead of making that 1, can I make that 1? Which means each of these is a third, correct? I need 8 thirds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Can I put my first dot there? Is everyone okay with that? Now, can I use the same scale on the y-axis? Yes? Here? Or here? Because the y was going to be 0. What's 2 times 0? Yeah, for an x-intercept, y is always 0. So it just drops out. We did that yesterday, Antonio. That's why. Everybody else. For the y-intercept, the x would drop out. But you can also put it into this form and get the y-intercept. Okay? That's another thing we did yesterday. And I forgot to put the video up, so you couldn't have even checked, even if you wanted to. So can I use that same scale on the y-axis? I need to get up to 4, don't I? Which means I would have to go up 12 spaces, yes? Does 12 spaces fit on my graph? No. So I'm going to leave it as 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now here is a problem. And I'm going to zoom in to show you, because this is a mistake you guys make. Well, not you guys, because you're not going to be fooled by it. But regular people make this mistake all the time. If I connect this line, what's its slope? A great many of you are already looking and counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, aren't you? Right? 4 plus 4. And what is this? It's not 8, is it? It's 8 thirds, because the scale is different. You must watch out for that. In math class, it won't happen to you very much, because in math class, we leave the numbers as numbers most of the time. Why did I put it as fractions? Because where else do we use graphs? In a lot of other subjects, yes? Especially science. And in science, do your scales sometimes change? And social studies? Sometimes you have like 1,000 years on a graph, but you don't have 1,000 little dots, do you? They go up by hundreds or 200s or 300s. Understand? That's why I'm showing you this. You have to be aware that even though the scales are changed, it is still rise over run, but it's the actual rise and the actual run, not what you count on the graph. Do you all see that? I'm going to trust that you do, because nobody is talking to me today. But that's okay. I'm used to it. All right, let's look at 5. 5 is very easy to solve on the graph, isn't it? Where is point A? 2, 6. Over 1, 2, up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Everyone agrees? Okay. Now I need to get out to negative 4y, and it's got a slope of 2. So that 2 in a slope is 2 over 1, correct? And it's rise over run, right? So if I go down 2 and over 1, does that give me a slope of 2? Down 2 and over 1, down 2 and over 1, down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. There is my negative 4x, isn't it? Does everyone see that? What's the y value? Negative 5. Can everybody do it with the graph? Of course you can, so you can all count, right? So this point we know is negative 4, negative 5, if I'm going to count it on a graph. Can I find it algebraically? Slope equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, correct? What's my slope? Two over 1. Mark just said it. Tells me the slope. Is it? 1, 2, 3. It is negative 6. Thank you. What is y2? Y minus what is y1? 6 over what is x2? Negative 4. What is x1? 2. So now I can do algebra here. 2 over 1 equals y minus 6 over negative 6, right? How do I solve that? Cross multiply. Y minus 6 equals negative 12. Y equals negative 6. Holy Toledo. I can do this with a graph, or I can do it with algebra. Both of which, neither of which, I mean, are new to you. In grade 9, you learned how to put stuff on a graph. In grade 7, you learned how to do algebra. All we're doing is putting them both together in grade 10, which of course we should have done in grade 7 when you learned algebra, but I don't make those rules. Actually, you should have done in grade 3 when you learned algebra. Everybody good? Okay, let's turn the page over. This time, I want you to use algebra only. You don't have this point? Okay. You have negative 1, 5, and x and negative 4, and a slope of negative 3 halves, yes? Okay. Don't use the graph. We are going to use the graph to prove it and check our work. So we are going to use algebra. So we start by showing our work. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Fill in everything you know. Do you know the slope? What is it? Negative 3 over 2. Could I have put the negative at the bottom? Yeah, it wouldn't matter. And then I just fill in my y2s and my y1s. Negative 4 minus 5 over x minus 1. And then I do my math. Negative 3 over 2 equals negative 9 over x plus 1. Right? Is everyone still okay there? Now, how do I solve that? Same way I solve every fraction algebra question. Cross multiply. Negative 3x minus 3 equals negative 18. Right? Negative 3x equals negative 15, x equals 5. Everybody cool? And there's our x, so what do I get to write there? 5. Now let's use our graph to check it. Negative 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's my first point, correct? Down 1, 2, 3 over 1, 2. Down 1, 2, 3 over 1, 2. Down 1, 2, 3 over 1, 2. There's my point right there where y is negative 4. What's the x? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my good gravy, we did it right. Without ever going to a graph, we used math. Cool? Everybody good? Once again, I'm used to it. You guys should have 2 more. Work on them now. And then, on your outline, page 339, again, I will ask you to do some of it. Most people won't. You guys work on them for a second, and then I'll show you the work. You're hilarious. I haven't even marked that one yet. I'm going to do both, obviously. You check. If you did the graph only method, when I do the algebra, you're going to have the right answer anyway. If you do the algebra method only, you're going to get the right answer anyway. I'm going to do the algebra method. If you did it with the graph, can everybody do this? What is the key to remembering how to do everything in this unit? Every point on the graph is what? X and Y. Every equation I give you has what? X and Y. You take the point from the graph, you put it into the equation. Can everybody do it? That's all you have to do to this whole unit. Remember, X goes for X, Y goes for Y. And here is this one. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. 5 over 2 equals negative 2 minus y over negative 3 minus 2. 5 over 2 equals negative 2 minus y over negative 5. Negative 25 equals negative 4 minus 2y plus 4. Negative 21 equals negative 2y. Y equals positive 11.5. Is everyone okay with that? Did you all get 11.5? I hope indeed that you did. Now, that's going to be a little hard to do on the graph, but we can still do it. Negative 1, 2, 3, negative 1, 2. It's got a slope of 5 over 2. So up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 2. 1, 2. Oh, I'm going to go off the graph. So since I'm going to go off the graph, can I even use the graph in this one? No. I had to do it algebraically. Does everybody get it? Because 2, it's going to be way up here somewhere. Is everybody good? Awesome, possums. So you need to be working on that page, 339. Okay? And like I say, the key to this is remembering m equals rise over run, and it also equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And I remember m lives in that equation. If y is by itself, you automatically have a slope. Now, guys, I would like to point something out to you that often gets missed by kids. If m works in this equation, will this work in the equation? Yes, because that is m. So could you do y equals rise over run x plus b and still get your intercept? Yes. Could you do y equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 x plus b? Can you do that? Of course you can, because they are all m. Everybody cool? Okay, go. Now, I don't want Cassie to get mad at me, so I'm going to upload this video right now. And I recorded that for you, Cassie.